What is good, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're going to be covering a lot today. Some news, levels to look at with the SPY, and why are options the most expensive right now. Let's get into the video. So first off, man, we had a little bit of a sell-off, but a little bit of a comeback at the same time. Let's look at it from the day time frame. We are green. So we do have a little bit of a rebound, but understand that in all bear markets, we do have green days. So understand that for the weekly, we're almost fully red, which is insane. So keep that in mind. We did indeed have a big spike up with the SPY yesterday, and that kind of came out with a rumor saying that Trump is going to have a 90-day tariff basically relief. And it was based off a video which a dude accidentally said yes. But then he basically said no at the same time, but people thought he said yes. And it kind of just came out as a rumor. And I mean, honestly, if we zoom in even more, we have two 1 minute candles that printed almost $10. And I just want to use this as an example to show you guys what really can happen if we get relief. And the thing is it's basically like a signature away from getting full relief from tariffs. I mean, a 90-day tariff pause would be great for the markets overall, but then we'll just be back in the loop as we've seen before with the tariffs that got paused about a month for Canada and Mexico. We did have relief, but then once it came back and we added the tariffs, it kind of the market went down again. With that being said, we did have that, but then it came out, the White House and everything came out and said that it was false. And then we just started dying down back down to some low levels for the SPY below 500. With that being said, we did have an overnight and over the day kind of going up and rallying to the upside a little bit. We did break that 520 level for the SPY, and some other stocks are up. And as you guys can see with the heat map for the daily, we are green for now. But with that being said, just keep in mind that in a lot of bearish. So if we go to the 4 hour time frame, we can still go lower. We do have a bunch of gaps to fill. Technically, you got to break that 545, and then technically you got to break that 564 to see some bullish momentum like consistently, because we just been bearish overall. With that being said, we did consolidate a little bit, but then now we're breaking down lower. So we're kind of just on a little pause. Some levels to look at for the SPY. I am coming out with daily shorts to kind of come out with it too. But with that being said, look at the to the upside, look at 520, 522.2, 523.5, and 525.2. And with that being said, keep these levels in mind because look at it. We bounced off of this level already and bounced down lower below this level. So keep that in mind for your levels to watch. Levels to watch downward. My first one was 520, but we're already breaking below it. So next level to look at is 517. Let's zoom in a little bit more to kind of show a little bit more. So we broke below this level. So next level to look at is at 517 or to the 518 level. And if we break below this, we can be bearish even more. You can look at that 514 or 515 level next and that 513.81. Then we can look at the lows of 511 next to the downside if we keep going down. So keep that in mind. 520 is going to be a key level for SPY overall. But if you want to make some calls and puts, use these plays as an example. And like I said before, I'm going to be coming out with shorts for this too. So keep that in mind. Some news that we have, we don't really have too much news, but we do have Nvidia leading Magnificent Seven rebound after tariff fuel sell off. And then we are having Musk kind of having appealed to Trump's reverse new tariffs. So he's trying to reverse the new tariffs, but we'll kind of see, there's some debates saying that they're kind of beefing, or not really beefing, but they kind of fell off, So keep that in mind for the overall market. Overall, I think we can have some green days with the SPY. Just be very, very patient. And yeah, so let's get into some other plays. So Apple is another one that's going to be moving strong with the tariffs because their sales are going to be basically accelerated. With that being said, keep in mind that Apple, they're selling their, I mean, there's basically things coming out saying that Apple is selling more iPhones just because of the tariffs. People are trying to buy their iPhones before the iPhone price go up, a few $100. So I mean, it is kind of smart to buy a phone now rather than waiting until later when the tariff prices are accounted for. So really their sales are kind of going higher and their earnings might be a little bit better just because of that. It's kind of like the sales for the cars, you've seen that go up a decent amount. But with that being said, we do have Apple in a bullish trend too. Yesterday, our highs of 194. I'm not going to say we're going to see that because this is kind of around the rumor area. But with that being said, look at 194 to the upside. But first level that I want to look at is 188, and then that 190 is going to be key. If we break above that 190, we might be able to get that 195 and then maybe even 200, but maybe not for the day. But maybe for the upcoming week, we might even get up to that 200 level if we continue this upward trend. With that being said, to the downside, of course, we do got room to move downwards, and we are kind of in a bearish trend overall. I mean, right now for the daily, we're kind of in a bullish trend right now for the daily. But for if you look at it like weekly time frame, we are in a bearish trend. But with that being said, to the downside, I will look at that 185 and then 180. And then below that 180, 178.6, 176.2, 175, 174.19, and then 172.80. So Trump's economic team faces flood of tariff critics and even from the top White House allies. So they are, I mean, a lot of people are judging the tariffs. I mean, it is a pretty bad trade war, and a lot of people view it as stupid. Next one, China is to ban the import of U.S. films into China in response to U.S. tariffs. We also have China kind of retaliating with 34% tariffs, and then Trump came out with it last night saying that if he continues to do this, is going to basically, we're going to give them 50% on top of that. So he's kind of moving fast. Trump's honestly standing on business. With that being said, it is kind of unfair if China does put 34% on top of it, because we're kind of just trying to get that trade deficit away. To say, I'm not really agreeing, I'm not disagreeing, but it's kind of unfair if they put the 34%. So it's going to make it look worse. So that 50% is a little bit more valid, but it will bring the markets down even more. But basically, China saying that they will fight until the end after President Donald Trump threatened the addition of 50% tariff. U.S. futures drop after China threatens to fight to the end in the trade war. And we do have Applied Materials CEO Gary E buys 50,000 shares. I mean, honestly, man, if you buy it at a discount, you could sell it later on. But this is insider buying that you might be able to, get into, because if the CEOs are confident, man, they're going to be buying. If they're not confident, they're going to be selling. Every day is a new record. So basically, we traded the most volume ever. Again, 29 billion shares today, which is insane. 10% from Friday's record level. And the options are going insane too. I think yesterday at the market open, the SPY options, man, the bid and the ask was broken. That's insane. That's my first time seeing it. I think it also happened on Friday too. A bullwhip again. Apple's. Oh, this is what I was talking about with Apple. So Apple staff reports rush of customers panic buying over the weekend, and Apple US stores seeing sales bump due to pre-tariff shopping. So this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. So another thing is uranium production hits record level in 6 years. So look at some stocks. There is an ETF that follows uranium overall. But basically, if you guys don't know what it basically is, it's mainly just basically for energy sector, and it's for the nuclear energy, basically nuclear energy basically. So just if you guys are investing in any of those stocks, just look at those stocks, because we're at a record high and these stocks can benefit off of this, especially in these times with a bearish market overall with tech and stuff like that. You can look at some other stocks like this energy sector. And then this is one of the ETFs that I've seen. It's currently trading at $21. I think some highs of 25 to 26. But we are kind of bullish with this one, so I do recommend looking at this one. With that being said, some other levels. So let's go over to NVIDIA, because we are breaking up higher. We were down to that 86 dollar level. And honestly, man, that was kind of crazy, but we are trading above $100 again, which is insane. Honestly, for NVIDIA, especially seeing it below that $80 level, we went up almost 20 bucks. So if you guys got in, you guys are kind of smart and lucky. With that being said, to the upside, I will look at that 105.7 level, 110 or 111 level, 114.6, 117.8, and then at 130 next. And then after 130, 133.9, 137.3, 141.2. NVIDIA is a decent stock, especially for the long term. I personally loaded up at that $85 level once again. I put like 10K into it. I didn't put too much, but I mean that's going to get you a decent amount of money though. To the downside, back down, I will look at that $100 level. If we break below that $100 level, which is going to be a key level, we even bounced a little bit off of it. We bounced below that $100 level, look at 97.6, 95, and then back down to 80, to that $80 level, to 85, to 80 to 86. And if we break new lows, then you can honestly just load up, and then honestly just look at how fast it moved. Literally the next day went up almost $16 or $14, sorry. But yeah, Palantir is the next one. Palantir is another one that honestly moves with NVIDIA. If you really think about it, another AI stock that's been just rallying a lot. Next levels to look at is that 88 to that $90 level, and then that $100 level. Honestly, Palantir, if you look at it from the 4-hour time frame, we didn't really move that much ever since we came up. I mean, we've reached the highs, we bounced down a lot, and we've just been consolidating throughout this bad market. So I think Palantir is that one stock that if you can get it back down to the $60 to $70 level and just hold it, you're going to be strong and safe into these trades, because honestly, we only seen it bounce down. I mean, honestly, this doesn't really count. We kind of just had a little bit of a rally up, a little bit of a rally down. And then after this, we didn't even touch this $63 level. We almost did this day, but honestly, man, even if we break new lows, we're probably not even going to break below that 60s. But with that being said, I think Palantir is one of the strongest tech stocks recently, and I recommend investing into it. But with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Let's hope that we have a green day, and let's hope that you guys make a decent amount of money. Comment down below how much money you guys made, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.